Friends from the Road. You are now listening to the Friends from the Road podcast.
Gaining new friends along the journey. Sharing stories that inspire, encourage, and motivate.
Friends from the Road podcast. Now here's your host, Daniel Hurd.
Welcome everyone to another talk of Friends from the Road. We're doing another picnic talk tonight because we got another group of cyclists here at a different campground. We are here at the Gualala Regional Park, and it's just about the same number of people as last time. Today we have Eddie, Brandon, Patrick, Martin, and Mark, and we're all again cyclists doing our things, but we all have our own reasons. And tonight we're gonna start with Eddie. Eddie is doing a journey from Seattle to San Francisco right now.
Yep, that's correct.
So what is it that inspired this current journey that you're on?
So I was actually planning on doing this ride in 2020, and then because of COVID decided to push it back. But I grew up doing a lot of backpacking and a lot of camping with my family, and had done a couple of longer backpacking adventures, like 12-day stuff out in New Mexico, and really enjoyed that. And when I started thinking about what I could do to do something longer, I had looked at the AT or, the PCT, some of those bigger hiking adventures, but I didn't really want to be off.
Takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, 4 months off work would have been tough to pull, and so I was trying to look into some other self-supported, similar type adventures, and started looking into bike touring a little bit. And all the research I did, pointed to the Pacific Coast Highway was kind of one of the most famous bike tours in the world. And so started looking into that more, and then ended up deciding to do Seattle to San Francisco based on the 3 weeks I could get off work. So it's been quite the trip so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, man, tell us about your bike, because like you said, you weren't really into biking. Did you just grab a Walmart bike? What'd you get for a bike?
Yeah, so
tell us about that.
Yeah, so I went into buying a bike kind of knowing that I wanted to do some touring and use it for riding long distances. So I wanted something that could kind of be more all road, but I wanted it to be kind of all purpose. So I ended up going with a kind of a gravel steel bike that I knew would be comfortable on pretty much anything. And I've been riding around the city and it's been great. Yeah, I just kind of bought a bike. I've been biking since, but I've only really been biking for about a year now.
Okay.
And just knew that everything was kind of building up to this trip. So, yeah.
Now, so you're coming towards the end. We're getting, what do we got? We're 3 days away from San Francisco from here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think you'll do another trip?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That means it went well.
Yeah, so being from DC, I forgot to mention, I did do, when COVID happened and I had to cancel my trip last summer, I did end up doing Pittsburgh to Washington, DC on the Gap to the CNO, which was awesome.
Yes, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I love that trailer. I think I brought it up before. It's a... have you guys ever done any of you? I know you probably haven't.
No, we haven't.
You guys know about the Gap Trail? I don't know what he. Yeah, it's amazing. The CNO is not worth it by itself, but the Gap Trail makes it worth it for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or by itself. So definitely check that out at some point. It's totally amazing.
Yeah. Straight trail, no cars. It's great.
And free camping a lot.
Yeah.
And it's paved.
Yeah.
Most of it until the CNO.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really great. So yeah, what do you have any ideas of what you'll do for future projects yet, or is that kind of still up in the air at this point?
It's definitely still up in the air. I've asked a couple of other tours, what other tours they've done and what they like, and I've thought about doing something international, and I've talked to a few people, and they said Italy is really an awesome place to do touring because everyone there loves cyclists, and even if you're on a one-lane road and there's cars coming in both directions, you feel safer on that than you do on some of these roads in the U.S. because people there are just so used to cyclists.
Yeah, they won't pass you until it's actually safe.
Because
they feel like it's safe for them.
Yeah, cyclists almost have the right of way everywhere in Italy, so that's something I'm considering. So, but we'll see. So.
What has been on your journey so far? What has been the most exciting place or experience you've had on this almost 3-week journey?
I think my favorite place so far has been Cape Lookout, mostly because I was able to meet up with a friend who is currently living van life and happened to be kind of in the Oregon area. And so they were able to drive out, and I got to hang out with them for the night and be on the beach with them. And that was one of like the most scenic campsites as well. Just like very beautiful, right on the beach, very like cool camp setup.
That's really awesome, actually. Not even just because of the scenic campsite portion, but like when you get that connection with somebody, and I know Mark and Martin are having that connection coming up tomorrow for themselves.
Yeah.
To have somebody that you know, whether it's family or a friend, to see them on your journey and to have that experience together, it's really a memorable, amazing time, even if it's just for a couple hours or a night or whatever it is. So yeah, I can definitely see why that was amazing for you.
Yeah, and the past couple of days too, you know, leapfrogging around with Patrick and Marty and Mark and you know, a couple of other people that we've met on the trail as well has been really fun. And, you know, it's nice looking forward to having someone to talk to about the day and, you know, talk about the ride and, you know that you're going to see people at the camp.
Climb.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're passing each other going up like, oh man, how was that climb? You know, so that's an aspect that I think I wasn't really, you know, really thinking about when I was getting ready for the trip that I've really enjoyed. Yeah, as well. So
that's an awesome part about it. I actually have enjoyed it as well, just getting to meet different cyclists because I haven't seen so many cyclists on my journey, especially during the pandemic time frame, that I kind of forgot that cyclists do this route so much. So like when I first saw my first group, I was like, man, I haven't seen 3 cyclists at one time in forever. And then the next day it was like, man, I haven't seen 5 cyclists. And now it's like, what is it? There's 7 of us here. Yeah. So it just keeps growing. It's just like the next thing I'm just going to have like a whole track team. It's crazy. You know, Eddie, something I do, and I'm going to prepare everybody else for is, I asked the person that I'm asking questions about if there's any advice that you could give to the listeners that are listening right now to, you know, take it to the next level, to go do an adventure, whatever it is that it could be. What a piece of advice would you give them?
I'd say just, you know, you don't need to jump 2 feet first into a trip, right? So it starts with buying a piece of gear. I think for me, the first thing I even bought was my handlebar bag. I didn't even have a bike yet, and I bought a handlebar bag and, you know, kind of helped build that momentum and got me excited for the trip that I was looking forward to. And all I had was this bike bag, you know, it was like 5 liters is all it could hold, but I was like super excited about this small little bike bag, and then, you know, kind of built momentum from there and getting other gear. And, you know, it's been a two-year kind of build up to actually doing the trip. So I think that kind of helps as well. Just, you know, don't think, you know, oh, I need to go out and buy like $1,000s worth of dollars of gear overnight, once, right? Yeah. Like, you know, just buy a bike bag and then see where it takes you. So. And
you're still using that bike bag?
I am, yeah. It's
good.
Yeah, brown one on the front there.
Very cool. Yeah. So, you know, you got to start small, guys. It's important to do that. So, great piece of advice. Mm-hmm. Eddie, thank you. We're going to talk to Mark and Marty. You know, it's been, from what I've been told, is 2 things. One, you guys are the old guys of the group that have been kind of sticking together, and you guys are also the slow guys in the group. Is that true?
Just one slow guy, that would be me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, not him.
Oh, so the old guy, the old man.
The oldest guy.
He's waiting on
slow.
you.
Yeah, he's waiting on me. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very nice man. Most of the time.
Most of the time. So what are you guys doing? Tell us about your journey. What do you guys got going on?
Mark, you love to talk. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, it all started, 27 years ago when we took our first journey together.
You guys did a bike journey 27 years ago?
27 years ago, we flew to Seattle and went to Mexico. 27 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of like a reunion almost, in a sense, of this portion.
Yes. A portion.
Yes,
yeah,
but we have done sections of this ride.
Several times with
other people and
together.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before you continue to tell us about this stuff, your guys' connection is pretty interesting, and I want to say thank you for what you guys have done in your careers. You guys were teachers. I don't know what type of teaching you guys did, but it doesn't matter to me. I think a teacher is a very important person, so thank you for what you guys have done. But is that where you guys' relationship started as teachers and then built into friendship and into the cycling relationship that you guys have?
Pretty much. We were teaching at the same high school. We found out that we're enemies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really enemies.
Mortal enemies.
Mortal enemies, because we actually graduated from rival high schools.
oh okay.
So I mean, so that's
Hey, keep your enemies
yeah.
close, right?
But we were 250 miles away from our rival, so we had no choice but to, hang around together and start talking together and start talking smack.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so it was fun. I come from a small Catholic school in Santa Barbara, and he comes from a public school in Carpinteria.
Oh,
And
okay.
so they were just mortal rivals, and great tradition, and it's fun to just talk smack, and his team wins most of the time.
Well, that's why you have to talk more smack, because
Yeah,
that's the only
yeah,
way
why
you
don't
win.
talk-
And I would bring clippings from home that Carpenter Warriors beat Bishop, and I would show him in the locker room. Here, look what's happening back home, brother.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you guys can take that humor and that rivalry of, I know high school is a rival time, but I'm glad to see that you guys can make it through that and bring this amazing adventure that you guys are doing, not just now, but over the last 27 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're currently doing from Portland to San Francisco, right?
Correct.
And how long have you guys been doing it so far?
What day is this?
Okay,
Marty?
we're going 16 days, so this was
Oh,
the 13th day.
Okay, so you guys started. Oh, well, let's talk about that real quick. So you guys started right during the beginning of the heat wave.
No.
Right
Right after
July 7th. Right
Oh,
after.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We lucked
Ooh.
out.
And we'd still be up there if it was that hot. Yeah.
It was that, you're like, we're just
We still be in
gonna,
the hotel.
we're not camping.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you guys think that you could have potentially ended up in the heat wave at that?
We were
Right at that
a
beginning
bit
stage?
concerned, but we had been checking the weather, and it had come down quite
Okay.
significantly, probably 20 degrees. So instead of being 100, it was in the 80s.
Well, that
So we
That's a lot
were
better.
having hogs because we were coming from 100 temperature in Fresno, Clovis,
yeah. So,
and so
it would
it
have
was
just went
no
from
big
hot to
deal
harder.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't mind the heat.
Yeah. Well, you can't get where you live. You guys kind of have to deal with
Yeah,
that.
you have
we
to
do.
deal
It's
with
kind
it.
of like the people up in like the northern states that have to deal with the cold.
Yeah.
They just kind of deal with it. So yeah, tell me more about your guys' journey. Like, what's your guys' what's it been like? Where you guys went through the valley instead of doing the coast at first, right? And then jumped onto the coast.
Yeah, that was the first time I had an interest in doing I think it's called the Willamette Valley of Oregon, because I'd been reading and researching a little bit about the trails there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay, but the coast of Oregon, 10 times better, huh, Marty?
Yeah.
It's just really spectacular views on the coast as soon as you hit the coast. And I think that's what we enjoyed, and we've done it several times.
That's really awesome.
Oregon coast is amazing, especially the upper part.
Oh, I loved all of Oregon for the most part. As soon as I crossed into California is where I didn't enjoy it as much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's pluses and minuses,
There always is.
Yeah, there's a little more inland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it's all enjoyable.
But
It's
here
a lot
on
of
one,
beauty.
boy, you're on the coast a lot, and today was probably the most scenic of any days as far as seeing the coast.
Oh yeah, so far, but wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
With that cliff edge.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see front row up close. Hopefully
That's
nobody
the
bothers getting too close to us tomorrow.
Yep.
Guys, so you guys have done a lot of adventures together. Do you guys have any future plans already started, or do you have anywhere you guys got going
Yeah,
planned out?
we've talked about doing something internationally.
Yeah. Going to Europe and doing follow river, because there's so many beautiful cities in Europe that just amazing that you can just travel from one to another. And Patrick's, you'll hear from him later, but I mean, he's done a lot of those trips, and so he's, kind of sparked our interest to do that. And we've always looked for something, I always wanted to go to Croatia because of the beauty of Croatia. It's just amazing there. But, again, when you're in Croatia, there's a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. And I've been there, and I would not want to drive those roads. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be pretty interesting to do a overseas tour, Europe. That's definitely something that I hope to do as well. And I'm sure pretty much everybody at this table is either already doing that or wants to do that.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have anything else that you guys want to share about your current journey that you're on?
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions for them?
It's been a lot harder than it was 30 years ago.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. You mean you're not in your 20s, 30s anymore?
No, not even close. But I think the thing, for me, and I know with Marty also, we like a challenge. We like to prove to ourselves that we can complete this trip, even though we're 63 and 73.
The old man and the young old man.
Yeah, and so, and I actually started calling Marty old man when he was 36 and I was 26. So,
so he's always been the old man.
He always has.
I'm always the old man,
But it's been fun, just cruising down the road, and we neither of us really care where we go or what we do and when we stop, and that's been a lot of fun. Just doing that.
It's taking it at your own pace and enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about. And just meeting you guys this morning briefly, and then hearing about you guys before you guys got here from the guys that have been hanging out. You guys definitely enjoy it and have a lot of stories to tell. And I love that story that you brought up, Mark, earlier. So I don't know if you want to share that or not, but if not, it's
was that
cool.
about my son or was that about my friend here?
About your friend here.
Well, is that okay, Marty? Is that okay?
Do you want to share that story?
Go for it.
Right. So, those of you that have met Marty, this last week, he's got some quirks. He's kind of a quirky person,
Well, I've only known him for less than 10 hours, so.
Yeah, so, but that's why we love him. But, so, we're stopped on the side of the road, and so usually, Marty will park in an angle, his bike, and stand on it, and I'll park just so people can't see, and he's taking a leak on the pavement. Mm-hmm. And so that's nothing different, and so he got done, and he's trying to take his pills, and he dropped one of his vitamin D pills in the pee that was on the pavement. Oh, man. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, this guy, okay, he's going to go find another pill, right? So he reaches down, he picks it up, and he puts it in his mouth and takes the pill. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're crazy. And he looked at me, he says, I don't care. and that's my friend Marty.
Marty, would you do it again?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you already mentioned it. Like, kids get the 5-second rule. You said that retired men should get, what, a 1 minute rule?
1 minute rule if it lands in your piss.
And the hard part was that when it landed, it kind of splashed. So you know that it was in there.
No.
I'm not lying about that.
Oh, man. Well, hey, guys, I'm going to ask you guys the same thing. It must be interesting doing it, starting it during your younger years, kind of like at the age that we're at now.
Right.
But being in the retired age frame and still doing this thing, it's going to be pretty amazing. What advice do you guys have for the listeners?
As an old fart, I think my advice to myself is just keep moving. So that's what I do. I mean, if I could just keep moving instead of sitting on my fat butt.
I don't even know where you have any fat.
No, it's not fat, but to me, it's just if you move, you're doing something, and I don't care what it is. Just keep moving so that you're just not sitting there watching the tube or looking on their, your phone for this or that. I mean, there's times for your phone. There's times for looking at the tube. But, hey, get out there, move, do something, anything.
Yeah.
Just move.
And I think for me, it's I'm always looking for the next challenge, for whatever that is. And so
Mark likes that.
That's kind of what we're doing here.
You're moving and challenging yourself.
We're going to push ourselves down to San Francisco and.
So in reality,
that challenge.
you guys are actually combining it and doing both of yours.
Mark likes challenges. He likes to set things up. He likes to, spark the interest. And I go, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm all in.
As long as the old man's on.
That's right. No, that's true.
It is.
That's true.
Mark loves to set things up and get things going, or has some ideas about where to go. I go, hey, I'm in.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's been amazing. But hey, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk to these other two guys about their stories.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, Alex Casedo here, aka Bum on Two Wheels, and an ambassador for the One Pedal at a Time movement. I'm super excited to have joined the group and to share their message while I'm on my own journey. I recently completed the Living Work Start training course, which gives you techniques on how to identify somebody struggling with thoughts of suicide, how to talk to them about it, and also provides resources to help them. It's a super great course that's easy to go through, interactive, not boring, and did I mention educational, which is the #1 priority of the OPAT movement. So if you're interested in joining the movement, get started at start.opatmovement.com. I think you'll find it very informative and worth your time. Now, to the episode.
Hey, and we're back with two more guests to talk to. First one, we're going to go with Brandon. Brandon, thank you for coming on. We spent the night together last night.
Yes, we did. We spent the night at in Manchester, a little town, population 475.
Well, is it really that little?
Real small. It looks way smaller, actually.
I thought it was, to be honest. That's actually a high number.
Nothing going on.
But yeah, we stayed at the KOA, man.
Superheated pool.
It was $10 to stay at a KOA, and it was either that or stay next door at the state park for the same price.
Yeah, no shower.
No
included,
shower,
no nothing, really.
no electricity, no jacuzzi. So it was well worth it.
Yeah, it was incredible.
But you've been doing your journey for a little while, not too long, but you're doing a short journey. What got you inspired to do this?
Oh man, I did my first tour about 10 years ago, 2011 July. It's coming up exactly, on the anniversary, and basically it just changed my life. There's one pivotal thing in my life that changed my trajectory. It was bicycle touring. From there, I ended up just camping more and kind of just realizing that I don't need to spend so much money in rent, and I could kind of change my whole course and path, which maybe didn't make my parents happy, but
Yeah, so you've been doing a lot of traveling. You just came back from Mexico during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And you ended up spending some time back at home.
Yeah.
How long have you been back home now?
I don't know, a month or two too long, but.
So you spending home, staying stationary, kind of like what Marty was talking about.
Things came
get moving, staying off the tube.
Exactly.
You were being stuck on the tube. You were saying, right?
The best cure for any just blues. Just get on your bike and basically just pedal. What I did was just jump on public transit. I kind of made a game out of it and found this very interesting bus line that took me out to where I knew kind of would be a good bicycling area because I had done it before, and I just took off there. And,
so pretty much from Fort Bragg, you're heading to San Francisco again.
Yep.
Very cool.
Less than a week.
So you're doing a week a journey. It's just enough to keep you
mini tour,
help your mental state. Because you've kind of been feeling a depressive state. You said,
yeah,
right?
a little. I would call it maybe a little depressive there. Back in the Bay Area where I'm from, Redwood City. It's okay. Not really my favorite upbringing though. I'm not really the big kind of city person. I like small towns.
Very understandable. They get overwhelming sometimes, but this is just a stepping stone for you. This 1 week tour, you're getting ready here coming up on August 1st to move into a van.
Yeah, I got
Let's talk about that.
An RV. I bought it last year before the pandemic, and it's really sweet RV, 20 feet, and I got it for like $4,500. I put in like at least another $1,500 into it. But anyways, now I'll be able to basically work and live out of it and save up, lots of money there and live my life not working that much of it. Basically semi-retired, it feels like, working seasonally when I want.
That'll be awesome. Now, do you have any plans where you're going to go with that?
I'm planning basically looking into the river season, although I know half of the summer's over, but there's still plenty of months left, and I got some experience in it already on the water, so hopefully it won't be too hard.
You were telling me a little bit about that. Do you have certifications and all that?
Yeah, the woofer and all that. Yeah,
woofer?
recerted twice already now.
Nice. So yeah, hopefully you can find that stuff, and even though it's halfway through the season, there's always opportunities out there.
Plenty of jobs they're saying right now no one wants to take, so hopefully that'll be my case in hospitality.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about tourism, your current journey, or the one that you have going to be starting?
Anything else to talk? Well, I mean, basically, bike touring is just such an incredible experience that you just can't replicate with sitting on your bum looking at your technology.
Hey, so something that you did today that I wanted to talk about is we were riding together for a couple miles, and you were itching when we went past the first beach. You were like, "Hey man, you want to go to the beach?" And I was like, "Man, it's too cold. I'm all set." And you kept riding with me for a couple miles, and then at some point you were just like, "Man, I gotta go back. I gotta go to the beach."
Yeah.
So I feel like you really enjoy just going and checking out the beaches.
Yes, I'd say I'm more into the riding aspect as the adventure, not as much as the race or like the mileage. I don't even have an odometer on my bike, to tell you the truth. Every time I've toured, I never have a clue any statistics of anything, but I just go for the adventure, man. That's kind of my style.
That's awesome. And that's important to do. So with that, do you have any advice for the listeners for that?
Just don't be afraid to try and just go for it, Do it. Take the plunge. It's worth it.
Great piece of advice. Thank you, Brandon. So our last guest is coming from Germany. He's doing a tour across the country. He's made his trip across the Atlantic Lake. Patrick, what do you got going on? Where did you start from? Where are you going?
Well, I started in early April in Savannah, Georgia, and it was warm there back then in the southern states. I had to learn that because I wouldn't really know about your climate, situation in the United States, because the country is just so big. So I started early April. I had to find out going north it's going to be colder, so I hit snow and ice and everything. So I was outside, when it was below freezing, which was like
not fun.
20 degrees or something. So I had snow and ice on my tent in the morning, and riding in snow, literally did that. And then like later on it got warmer, and
Yeah, you went from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, it's just, so I kind of switched climate zones, I switched time zones, everything I don't really have in Europe. So it's something I had to learn, something I had to get used to, but it was fun for me, especially like when you're out there, you start forgetting like what day it is. You don't care what weekday it is. You don't care what date it is. And it's just, just being out. You live with the sun. So all that matters is like daylight. And that changed too over the course of time. So
yeah, it got longer.
Yeah, so you have like in the beginning, you start like at 8 o'clock because it's still dark. And you have only until like 6.
Yeah.
And then later you had like a whole day, like starting at
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning and go till 9. And especially when you go north, that helps a lot. And going west, so
yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, so your journey has been over 4,000 miles to this point.
Yeah.
You went across the country, and now you're heading to your final destination, kind of like the rest of you guys, to San Francisco.
Right. So this is basically, for me, it's like going home now. So the trip, the challenge was to go from east to west, which I did. I went to Anacortes, which is like one of the recommended ACA destination points of the northern tier. Mm-hmm. So for me, the challenge was, the mission was accomplished.
There. Yeah, you've already done it. Now you're just doing extra.
So and now it's like, okay, I have to catch a plane, and this will be in San Francisco in 2 weeks. And so I just figured I keep going, and I just enjoy, as I said, every single day of it. And it's only 3 days more of riding now. And I have to say, I cannot really imagine how it's going to be not to sit on my bike every morning, because it's just this wonderful moment of doing, just you have everything with you, you leave nothing behind, and you just go. And you still feel your bike is your home.
Yeah,
okay,
it's your everything.
It's your everything, and you don't know what's going to happen on that day. You don't know. You know you're going to meet people, and you just don't know yet who. And I met quite a, you guys and different ones on different places, and it's so much fun. And I have to say, I started quite, the first 2 months I was all alone. There was not a single cyclist.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you, that was going to be my next question, is how many, you haven't seen any cyclists? That was
None. I mean, southern states, it seems like there's nobody. Well, I didn't meet anybody.
Yeah, nobody while you were doing it.
So you would, sometimes I went like to places like Chattanooga or Columbus, Indiana, where there would be like a cycling community. So you would see people on bikes there. But those were the only moments. And I had like the first real encounter with another cross-country cyclist was in kind of western Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, and we couldn't believe it. I mean, we were like,
neither one of you guys had seen a cyclist.
we saw, and he was waving from the other side of the road. I'm coming over. He was so excited. And we looked at our bikes, and you must be a serious cyclist. Yes, we are. And we were kind of already hugging, and the fun thing was, we both had a short day. So I would be going to the town he was staying in, and he would vice versa go to the town I was coming from.
So did you guys hang out for a little while and
so
chat?
We were like chatting for 90 minutes on this, right next to the road, and we were like, and it was just cool to have some, and he had the same feeling, obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember we both were kind of hungry, and he told me that he was once in his life, he was like a chef, working in a restaurant, and he started talking about food, and I got so hungry, he wouldn't stop talking about food and how we would prepare it and everything.
And so yeah, mouth watering at that point.
So the cool thing about this encounter was later on, he was going from Colorado, where he lives. He lives in the Rocky Mountains, up in the hills, up in the mountains, like he's a mountain man. And he was on his way to Washington, D.C. And for some reason, he had like a knee injury or something, so he had to kind of cancel his trip on the way. He found out that he won't do it. He can't do it.
Yeah.
So he went back home, and I went with him. And I stayed at his place for like a week, and we had, it was, we call it in Germany, we have this expression that two people are, when we want to say two people are of the same kind, we would say they're made of the same wood. Okay. I don't have something like that here.
Cut of the same cloth.
Yeah?
Same thing.
So, I wasn't in a hurry to leave there because it was so much fun talking with him. And it was, obviously, we were talking about biking and stuff like that a lot. So I have the feeling, and we're still in contact, we text and talk, and I have the feeling that I found a new friend here, really one that, that I will have down the road. And I'm just excited telling you this because he's just a great guy. And like him, I met like two other guys who feel the same. This other guy on San Juan Island who saw me on the street, and I was trying to figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight. And San Juan Island is not an easy place to stay because it's very touristy. So you would end up with paying like $200 for a motel or something, which
very expensive.
Very, very expensive. So I just was standing there on the road, and somebody talked to me, and they said, "Well, you need help? Can I help you find anything, like a place or what? And I said, well, yeah, I don't know where to sleep tonight. And he says, well, I know, you sleep at my place. So, and I ended up staying at his place for a couple of days because, you know, he did the Northern Tier. So he had plenty of stories to talk about. And yeah, and those are just two examples
of the many that have happened.
Of many. And I have to say, people like my family or people I meet, they, like, one of the questions they ask me is, what's the best thing? What was your best day? Yeah. So
that's a hard one to answer.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to compare like Alabama with Wyoming because both are nice in its own way.
Yep.
You know, they are what they are. So I'm not able to compare it.
Yeah.
I liked them both, and you know they were both important for me for this trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't compare them. But what I have to say is the best thing of the whole trip was meeting all those people. I met so many people that helped me, that were kind, that were like, you know, going out of their way to do something good. Angels, yeah.
Angels.
What do you call them? Road angels?
Road angels.
Yeah.
Or if you're on a trail, they're trail angels.
Okay, so road angels, yeah. And it was just amazing. And that's what I'm bringing home, this feeling and those many nice people, those nice talks we had.
All memories that you wouldn't have had if you were doing it in a car.
Right, yeah.
So that's the power, you know, that's what I love about cycling, and I think that's what we can all agree on, the power that a bicycle can give us, whether that's to get from A to B, to have a conversation with a stranger,
and you
have those memories.
Will, every day. The thing is, you're not someone who looks like dangerous. Like, you know, you're not someone who would break into a house and steal something. You've got enough luggage on your...
you don't want to carry more.
You don't want to carry a TV with you or so, which you wouldn't use, you know. Anyway, so you're probably the least harmful people in the world. So if you are like, you know, just on a gas station drinking coffee, you really see people coming up and they have the urge to talk to you. They want to talk to you. They want to know where you come from, where you go to. So you really see how it's working in them, and you wait for them to come up and ask this question, you know. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you have a nice talk on the side of the road.
Yeah, and then they become part of the experience.
Oh, yes.
So that's what they love as well.
That's what it makes,
It makes it amazing for us because then another person's part of it.
Yeah.
So... Patrick, you know, as you finish this journey, you're going to be heading back to Germany and getting back to your normal routines there. Do you have plans to do another biking trip, anything, or is this kind of one at a time right now?
Yeah, well, this was like one-time big adventure for me. So I was looking forward for it. I prepared it for years.
Okay.
And I, you know, was kind of, I didn't know what I was getting into here, I have to say that. And I'm glad it worked out so beautiful. I do bike trips every time in Europe, every year, and shorter ones, longer ones. So it's pretty easy there. You just start at your doorstep, you go somewhere, you end up in maybe another country, maybe not. And it's always because you just take the next train home. You don't care where you end up. So you go as long as you want, and then you just, you know, take a train, go home.
Yeah. Well, the public transportation out there is amazing.
Yeah, so that what helps a lot. So they always will take your bike, and there's no, it's easy. It's just easy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, before we finish it up, Patrick, I'm going to ask you the same question as everybody else for the listeners. What piece of advice would you give?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it while you were asking all others. I might have two advices. The one is, I think it's good to think big. For me, it was like a big thing that I couldn't know what I got into. And what made it work was to have small goals every day. Mm-hmm. Like little things. I was celebrating just crossing a state border. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I do.
Yeah, for me it was like a big day. So I was looking forward for like this thing that's going to happen like the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then you had to wait another day, and then you will finally go to Idaho from Montana. Or so it's just a sign on the road. And everything else doesn't change. It looks the same. You know, the road behind and before looks the same. And all the forest, everything's the same optically, you know, visually. But it's a big thing for you. It's like milestone. A goal. It's a goal you reached. And so I set like goals like that, or had goals. They were coming naturally. Yeah. And you were always happy to achieve them. And all those added up made the whole thing, the big thing. So in order to reach the big goal, you have to have like those small ones, I guess. That helps a lot.
Absolutely.
And the second advice, and that's something I had to give to myself probably before I started, you always have to be patient. So patience is very, very important. It's small steps, and, you know, just one pass at a time, one day, you know, just if it's very windy and you have this terrible headwind and you cannot make your mileage that you have in your head. So nothing's going to happen if you go shorter, you know. Exactly. You're going to have another day where you have tailwind, and then it works out again. Yep. So you don't just, you know, put yourself into pressure. Just be patient and it will work out. Yeah. And that's something I learned.
And that's why I love my mantra is one pedal at a time.
Yeah.
It's pretty much exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, guys, everybody, it's been a pleasure having you guys on the Friends from the Road podcast. You know, I'm glad that I decided to stay here instead of going to the next site, because I wanted to have had the opportunity to spend the night with you guys. With that being said, listeners, I hope you guys got something out of this picnic talk. And, you know, for all you guys, Godspeed, headwind, enjoy the last days of your journey. And that's it.
Tailwind?
Tailwind, yeah.
Did I say headwind?
You said headwind.
Tailwind. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's
tailwind.
why we're here.
Yeah, we got. That's why we're heading south, right?
Yeah.
So, with that, have a great night. Get some rest, and let's do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, you betcha. Good job, yeah.
Copyright OPAT Movement 2021.